Marty, I'm not wearing plaid today.
You're not wearing plaid?
Yeah, I got a summer shirt on because it's
Actually,
summer.
it's not the plaid, I think, that's your trademark. It's the snaps, it's the buttons. You
Is
got
it the
those
buttons?
I think the buttons are more your trademark than the print. But I noticed the print right away. I mean, like, yeah, very Hawaiian floral summery. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's warm. It's 29 degrees, which is apparently an inferno in Canada. Because this is what we've been seeing a lot of these days: is maps that are completely red. You're in molten lava if you go outside. They only go to the yellows if it's like 15 degrees. I don't know about you. That's cold for me. 15 degrees.
15 is, and again, and I don't like, these color schemes should be adjusted. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be
Oh,
20 and above is always red. I think it should be based on the expected normal temperature. Like, I wouldn't put any of those temperatures today as red in Alberta or red in BC because they're normal expected temperatures. Like, I mean, it's
yeah.
middle of July. Like, you know, that's Clyde, actually, maybe one of these days I'll play some sort of climate change bingo and just have a card that says climate change all across it and see how quickly I can fill my climate change bingo by watching the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, turn on CBC or turn on Global. God, actually, I don't even want to do that. I cringe thinking about it, but I'll go to somebody's house, I'll turn on the TV, and I guarantee I'll fill a 25 square with climate change in 45 minutes. They cannot help themselves, man. They throw it into every sentence. Even today, there was on Twitter, I saw a story saying they're asking the World Cup, the soccer organizers, to consider changing the month that it's held because of climate change. I'm like, oh my god, like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, if you want to get funding in anything, say you're in academia, it's well known that if you have your funding for, or you're looking to get funding for some project, I want to know the precise amount of chloroform that is produced in a leaf. You might not get your study, but if you said, I want to know how much chloroform is produced in a leaf, and how it's changed over the effects with climate change, then they're
Yeah.
like, funding, you got all your money,
Funding,
and then
ding. Yeah, yeah, $20,000
that's
right there. Away you go. Yeah,
that's
no
it.
kidding. Yeah.
Off you go,
Actually,
off you go.
I should do a GoFundMe. Marty, I passed a kidney stone because of climate change. There you go.
That you did though. I called you, so I messaged you yesterday, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't remember what I said, and you're like, so I almost passed out from the pain. What? Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, maybe some viewers don't know. I passed a kidney stone yesterday. One of the most bizarre incidents in my entire life. Like, and it didn't happen the way I expected it. It is very unusual. So, I'm moderately healthy. I'm 58 years old, and this 2 days ago, I had family visiting, and I drove to Banff for the day. So I was in my truck, which isn't the most comfortable vehicle. And yesterday, when I woke up in the morning, I woke up okay, but then immediately after waking up, I started having back pains, lower kidney back pain, right? And I thought nothing of it. Just went for a little walk to try and stretch it out. I thought maybe I kicked myself while driving, and then boy, half an hour later, like, I had this attack of pain, and the pain just shot, and I mean it was intense, and then the pain passed, and then another half an hour later, whoa, the second wave of pain that came. Now I had like convulsions, and anyways, the pain was like unbelievable. And
Jeez.
it was my wife who says, I think you might be passing a kidney stone. She was busy on the internet looking it up. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta prepare for this. If there's another one, then it gets worse. So I rushed myself to the emergency. Well, what a drive that was! Like, can you imagine? I'm driving a standard with one foot on the clutch and the other one on the brake, and I'm getting in these like seizures. And when I walked
Jeez.
into the emergency room, there wasn't, like, there's three people in front of me, and I was sort of prepared to wait for those three people to go ahead to register. The nurse just waved me in. She just waved me in. So I guess to them I looked like somebody was having a heart attack or something like that. Like, I was white and clammy and hunched over and in pain. And They gave me drugs. They hydrated me with 2 bags of IV, and then I peed out the stone, remarkably, and they confirmed that there was one with an X-ray and stuff like that. But just to finish the story, our kidneys are higher up in our back, and then the stone starts in your kidney and then makes a little path down a tube to go into the bladder. Once it's in the bladder, it's nothing. So the path that hurts is from the kidney to the bladder, and and
Oh,
my stone was plugs that hole completely, and that tube's kind of got muscles around it, and the spasms that hurt is your body trying to pinch and push that little pebble down. Oh, yeah. Anyways, it's long story short, it hurts.
they didn't try to get it with the ultrasound and break it up,
No,
or I've
no,
heard of that.
because oh yeah, there's all those things, but he's like, at this point they let nature sort of do its thing. They give me a lot of fluids and oh yeah, they're you know
When nature
yeah.
calls.
Well, and actually the funniest thing is that the doctor's there is like, "Do you want something for the pain?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, they got to ask, right? I guess some people are against medication or whatever, and yeah, maybe I'm anti-vax and a few other things, but proven drugs that work like Advil or whatever, I'm like, yeah, put it in the IV bag and have it reach me real quick. So, no, but so now I'm booked for an ultrasound, and they'll see if there's another one or more. But I think I'm okay. I think I'm
You
okay.
think you're good. You think you're good. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never
Well, I'm
experienced that.
I'm I'm
Hopefully I
good
don't.
enough that I'm having one of these. So
Well, cheers to that. Oh man, I can't imagine. I thought I was gonna have to get someone to fill in for the show for you today, but you're right as rain today.
yep, yep.
I'm glad
No,
it's
it's
that
it's
easy.
it's one of those weird pains that once it's passed, it's people told me that. They said once it goes, you'll be relieved and you'll be mind blown at how it goes from excruciating pain to none. And probably the same thing with women giving birth, right? You got that excruciating pain, and then you got a spontaneous, momentary joy, and then you get 38 years or 30 years after that of heartbreak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing. Speaking of heartbreak, there's a lot of people in the conservative camp a little bit heartbroken by the news today. I put this out there. I said, "Is this the face of a liberal victory in Battle River Crowfoot?" Anyone who's in the know, this is Jenni Byrne. She's the one. Well, the leader of the what would you say her position is? She's
Campaign
the head
manager.
head
Campaign
campaign
manager.
manager.
I think she managed 3 of his last campaigns of not Poilievre's 3 conservative campaigns, 3 defeats. I mean,
Right.
honestly, it's a
3
good question
defeats.
that you asked. Does she even look like a conservative to you? Like, somebody else asked that question, right? Like, dressed with the funny colors, and she loves to she almost like, if you pointed her out in a crowd, I'd say, "Oh, she looks like a liberal to me. She looks like a Jan Arden type or, yeah." But yeah, I
So this is the story. Despite
yeah.
despite calls for change, Poilievre's campaign manager keeps an advisory role firm on party payroll. So they're still going with her. She's gonna be the top. She's gonna be telling Pierre not to go on Joe Rogan and all these things. I don't know. What do you see from that? Because I mean, even what was his name? Corey Tanaiki. He was the campaign manager of um, uh, Doug Ford in Ontario, who, I mean, let's be honest, did a really good campaign. He got elected, despite me not caring much for Doug Ford. But Corey Tanaik, savvy, and was saying from the get go, she's doing a terrible job. This is the worst campaign ever. What are they doing? Immediately,
Well,
people like I got lots of people saying back to me, why is it that people backlash like this and they want to get rid of people, quick to come on board and then quick to take off
I think
and leave everyone behind.
you and I were critical of the campaign in general. We were critical specifically of Poilievre, but I think it's fair to say we were critical of the Conservatives. You and I were like screaming at the TV screen, at the computer, saying like, pivot, flip, do something. I mean, the liberals ran a good campaign and took away a couple of things from the conservatives. They took away the axe tax. They took away the Trudeau fiascos, and they managed to flip it quickly. and they went on the offensive, and I think the Conservatives ended up being stuck in defense and never pivoted. And you and I
Nope.
were saying that, yeah, do podcasts with new people, bring in fresh, hound the Liberals on their track record, don't stop doing that. Forget about the axe to tax slogan, and don't replace that slogan with another slogan, and then be more off the cuff and go on a speaking tour and focus on places where you have battles like your own writing. Yeah,
And have your
I
candidates get out there and talk to people too. That was another
yeah.
thing. Like I did talk to some people behind the scenes, and they were saying like, we're not allowed to do anything. We can't go. We can't do anything. And it's campaign headquarters is saying this. And it's ridiculous. You're in a campaign. Why are you
Yeah,
hiding? Like
yeah,
hiding is like, you might as well just throw your ballot, your name off the ballot. Like, get rid of it.
and
You're not, there was politicians in my riding. The Conservative guy didn't show up to some of the debates. What are you doing? This is just it's
yeah,
unheard
yeah.
of.
Yeah, and then just very, very pragmatically, I mean, Jenny lost 4 campaigns, so okay, you're done. I mean, it's no hard feelings, just get rid of her. And what's she's not a winner, so get rid of her and try somebody new. Like, why wouldn't you? We like talking hockey analogies. Sometimes you fire the coach, sometimes you fire the manager, sometimes you fire both. So, but now at this point, we're keeping the coach, the manager, and a bunch of players, even though we lost 4 games in a row. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have no hard feeling if Jenni Byrne was gone, none whatsoever.
So how does it look for Pierre going into, because you're in Alberta, you're really close with the Alberta independence movement. You see what's happening on the ground. What does it look like for Pierre? Because I mean, somebody stepped down, a Conservative stepped down to get him that seat. Is it really a
Well,
shoe-in?
starting with no, it's not really a shoe in. So, well, we thought it was a shoe in. So he. First of all, the guy who stepped down, whatever his name, Carrick, that pissed off the locals. That immediately pissed off the locals. I mean, the locals just said, we ran an election, we picked you as our candidate, and then you immediately quit. So they were, it was a bad move right off the gate. I think Pierre should have parachuted into any other riding or any other province but Alberta, because I think it really does complicate him. It does complicate things when he comes here. There's a separatist movement in Alberta right now, and it's on everybody's lips. And then Pierre last week was old videos of him, recent but old still, like not fresh showed up, where he reiterates that he's not for Alberta independence. And people say, well, he can't say, of course he can't support Alberta independence. He's running to be prime minister. I'm like, no. He's not running to be prime minister at this point. He's running to be an MP who then hopefully will be the leader of the opposition. But
From
if he, if, and
Alberta, where there's a big,
from
strong presence
Alberta,
of
but the way he's talking, people are noticing in Alberta. They're going, he keeps talking as if it's a shoe-in that he'll be prime minister, and he's forgetting that in the meantime he has to represent his constituents. And his language right now is not the language of somebody who's prepared to represent his constituents. So it's not a shoe-in for Pierre. It's not a shoe-in. And never mind that. There's also the other fact that there's a good independent person that showed up. There's a fantastic libertarian candidate that showed up. And I have already reached out to that young guy. I said, I'm good, because it's not my writing, so I don't get to vote in this one, but I like to meet the people. So I told this young libertarian, I want to meet you, bud. Like, I want to talk to you. So I'll go out there and meet him. And then, of course, there's the gong show of
see if he would want to come on the show. I'd love
sure,
to.
sure.
I'd love to talk to him.
I mean, his platform is super straightforward. Like, he's running on libertarian principles. He's running on small government, more freedom, less government in your face, and more individual rights. I'm like, dude, like, okay, right off the bat, you got my attention. So yeah, it's not a shoe in. And then, of course, there's this other controversy. I think they're called the Longest Ballot Group. Or remember the guys who attacked Pierre in his writing last election with the 100 names.
Yeah,
They're
who
trying
they
to,
were saying it was not. They're a bipartisan organization. They're not now. They
yeah,
clearly are not. They clearly are against Pierre
Pierre.
Poilievre.
Absolutely. And they're trying and they're trying to run they've already got 50 candidates. They're trying to run 200. So that ballot's going to be like what's 200 names? Like that's a lot of pieces of paper. You're gonna have a full. How, I don't even know how they're gonna do it, Clyde. Like you're gonna have this ballot, and you're gonna have to go alphabetically, and then probably find some really fancy way to roll it, which will expose to you know what happens, right? Anybody that doesn't that fill a ballot absolutely perfectly, it just opens up the possibility for the scrutineers to go bad ballot, you know, oh, improperly folded, or oh, there's a lipstick mark on that one. So the longer the ballot and the more people have to fumble with the ballot, the more likely it is going to be rejected. Oh,
that
yeah.
sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, the Pierre's got but he's doing what he should have done originally, which is he's actually out on the streets campaigning now. So if anybody wants to see Pierre Poilievre in person, your best bet to see Pierre Poilievre in person is to head up to little places like Standard, Alberta, or Oyen, Alberta, or little towns like that, because that's where he's campaigning, which is totally bizarre. Pierre Poilievre campaigning to be the next prime minister of the country, doing it door to door in middle of nowhere, Alberta.
So this is happening all over the place, because there's the APP, right? The Alberta Prosperity Project, and I believe there's other offshoots, but everyone's kind of getting in that camp. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so everyone's getting in that camp. But the opposition to this is not just people who want to stay in Canada from Alberta. It's people in the Conservative government, because like let's just be honest. If Alberta is to separate, how likely is it that you'll have a Conservative Prime Minister of Canada at all?
Not for the
at
next.
all.
Yeah, not
exactly.
for a long time.
So it's like the conservative, federal conservatives are not on the side of people who have, sentiments towards independence at all. In fact, they're quite at odds. So expect there to be campaigning against the Alberta Prosperity Project from that source.
Huge. Yeah. No. We haven't even seen if the Alberta Prosperity Project went and filed some sort of legal document with Elections Alberta, kind of stating the intention to start the petition to get a referendum. So step one, right? Mm-hmm. Once the ball gets rolling and they start collecting signatures, the opposition that's going to come from not just internal to Alberta, it's going to come from other provinces, other politicians. There's going to be a smear campaign against separatism, a huge one.
I feel like it's going to come from a lot of places, because just look at all of the interested parties in somewhere like Quebec, who's a beneficiary of transfer payments. If Alberta leaves, the transfer payment system changes completely within the borders of what would be still Canada. They could then, Quebec could end up being a net payee instead of a net beneficiary, depending on how everything goes.
Wow,
and then
that'd be funny.
Yeah, that would, yeah. And then there's also the Maritimes that are beneficiaries that might all change. So there's so many fronts for Alberta's Prosperity Project that be careful. Like, it's what I'm saying. Like, look out there, because there are so many interested parties that have conflicts, obviously, of interest, that are going to come in, and that's going to be the campaign. It's like, it's all of Canada campaigning against Alberta, because Alberta is a cash cow. Let's just be honest.
Completely agree. I mean, if the people want to, if the listeners don't mind, I'll talk a little bit more about the Alberta Prosperity Project. It's now it's gained. I told you last week, it's gaining so much momentum. It's incredible, right? It has more members than the United Conservative Party, and then the Conservative Party, the government in power right now, the Danielle Smith's government, started their own panel on sovereignty, but her plan is to make Alberta more sovereign within Canada. And so they started holding their town halls. Well, their town halls are now being attended by APP members, and they're going there to challenge Danielle, which is like crazy. Jeff Rath managed to challenge her this weekend. He stood up and asked a question and spontaneously asked the crowd, like, who here wants a referendum right now? And everybody cheered. So it's like, wow. So he's and so how did Danielle react? They reacted okay during that meeting, but in the subsequent panel, no media. So now already Danielle is locking herself down and not allowing people to come in and videotape these conferences. So like it's getting interesting. And for me, it's super interesting because Albertans are usually the least political people, but we wake up about every 40 years. And when we wake up, it's like, oh shit, what have you done? Right? Like, just leave us alone. Politicians are going to learn that. Leave us alone, collect a few taxes from us, give us the basic services, and don't do much more than that. Because if you piss us off, then we come out. And so I think in the short term, I think Danielle's about to get a bit of a pushback, and so is Pierre. So they're, and Carney wouldn't even dare come to Alberta. Like Carney, like, don't come to Alberta, man. Like, I'm just telling you right now, don't come to Alberta. There'd be no good that comes out of that. So yeah.
Not at all. And there's pushback in other places too. I mean, I guess this is a segue because I don't even know.
Before we go to this segue, I just remembered one thing when we were talking about elections. Somebody broke a story yesterday or 2 days ago. Another 120,000 ballots were found. Another 120,000 federal ballots were found. So like mail-in ballots and special ballots. They found another.
So what, they just throw them out?
Yeah, they just throw them out. At this point, the election's done. They're kind of like telling us, it's done, it's done, it's done. Can you imagine? Pierre Poilievre, right? Remember that writing with the recount that flipped by one vote? One vote flipped the writing. 120,000 votes, even if they're spread evenly across 300 writings, right? Like 120 divided by 300, it's like 60 votes per writing. I guarantee you there's enough of ballots in those missing ballots to flip like a dozen writings. Man, that story will be gone.
Just buried.
I think it was Mark Nixon, or I don't know who, or maybe the remand. Somebody like that broke that story. Maybe we'll talk more about it next week when more details come out. But yeah,
it sounded more and more skeevy all the time. Like I didn't think there was any voter fraud, to be honest, because I was looking at the polling. I know people are saying don't ignore the polls. I have good reasons why I was going with the polls, because the trends are in the right direction, even if the severity, because they're being skewed in one direction, the trends still follow. And what was actually happening on the ground was happening on the ground. The whole elbows up propaganda really did work. It was fantastic. But that being said, I thought, no, it it couldn't be, there couldn't be like widespread voter fraud. Now we hear about hundreds of thousands of votes. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, 99%, but in the end, I was looking at you can do some data analysis. Remember the analysis I did? I did one analysis right after the election that I was curious about spoiled ballots, right? Like we talked about spoiled ballots with the extra names. And when I sorted the spoiled ballots and sort of plotted them across the country, I just went, whoa, okay, something's happening. 3% of ballots in Quebec are spoiled. And then across the rest of the country, it's like 1%. I'm like, oh, that's an anomaly worth investigating. But nobody investigates that. So it's easy. They give us the data, and it's easy statistically to look for little outliers and find them. And so was there voter widespread fraud? Perhaps not, but there was. I'm confident enough. Yeah, if you brought in the remanded, and he'll bluntly say BC's election had fraud. Like that's
it was, no doubt.
And I think federally there was definitely a few suspicious writings, but it's all, it's our system is similar to the American system. Once it's the candidates themselves that declare that they've lost, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like Elections Canada, right. They just count the votes, and they say you got 100 and you got 101. And then if you're the local candidate and you don't appeal and you don't anything, and you just say I concede, and the other one is left standing, well, then you've turned the election over to them, and then recounts don't matter after that. You've basically, even if I prove that there was fraud after that, it's irrelevant. Once a candidate concedes to the other, then there's a winner. That's what happened in the U.S. right after Joe Biden won and Trump had conceded, and there's constitutionally nothing he could do.
That's it. So, that's absolutely it. And then another election came, and we got Trump. We got Trump, and that was great because everything was going to change and everything was going to move into a different direction, and we're going to find out who was on the list.
Oh, okay. You want to go there? All right, let's go there. I think I know what
And
list you're talking about.
now we're being told that the list doesn't exist, and nothing is more disappointing than this right now. Retard Finder posted this, said retard post of the day, the Epstein hoax. So this is Donald Trump saying the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents and the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at, and it's all they have. They're no good at governing, no good at policing, or at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, like unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have brought this into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. This is crazy. This is crazy what Donald Trump is saying in this.
It's crazy what he says in there when you read it. It's equally crazy when you see the little video clips of him like standing by the helicopter just getting ready to board, and then he gets asked a question, and he's saying he's trying too hard to what's the word? Trying too hard to dismiss this, and the harder he tries, even I got suspicious. He used words like "there's nothing there." I'm like, well, if there's nothing there, Donald, then
open it
show
up.
us. Open it up. Like
here's him saying that. This is the clip you're talking about.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested? He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
I don't understand what the fascination is. Man, this is about some of the biggest profile criminals out there doing some of the most heinous things ever. And we're just gonna let it go. This actually opens the door to letting Ghislaine Maxwell off the hook, completely off the hook. Because if there's no list, there's no perpetrators, there's no people being trafficked. She's never committed a crime.
Yeah, I'm sure the viewers feel the same way. They can comment, but when somebody, it's not just Donald, when somebody keeps telling me, I don't know why you're interested in this, there's nothing there, why are you interested in this is boring, why are you interested in this is old news, the more you tell me, it's what's the other expression you called it, the Streisand effect, right? Or the
Streisand
is that
effect,
the one?
yes.
Yeah. The more you deny it, Donald, the more I want to see the darn file. Like, I want to see the file at this point. I mean, I was getting to that point where I really don't give a shit about Epstein, but now I'm back to caring.
Now you're back to caring. So this was the Babylon Bee. They put that out there. Man who vowed to release the Epstein files berates idiots for believing there are Epstein files. I love the Babylon Bee because they're savage. And it's not about Trump. So this is the thing. MAGA is not Trump. MAGA is a movement. It's an ideology. It's this idea of openness, you know, no more of this big deep state, drain the swamp, all of that stuff. And some big names are coming out against this, and they're saying some pretty like scathing things. And this is the one thing that really caught me. This one really caught me, and I didn't know that Eric Weinstein had commented on this, but he was on a podcast recently. I'll share a clip of this, and then I'll give you the TLDR. But this is really interesting.
Jeffrey Epstein conducted a conference called Confronting Gravity.
What?
I don't know who Jeffrey Epstein was, but I would certainly bet money that he was a product of at least one or more elements of the intelligence community.
The CIA, the FBI.
Those are ours, right? Department of Homeland Security has some of this stuff. Geospatial intelligence has some of this. It's a large network. I'm talking about people like David Grush. I'm talking about people potentially like David Fravor. I'm talking about people like Jake Barber. I'm talking about scientists like Leo Szilard. Imagine if Leo Szilard didn't know that the Manhattan Project was going on, or Jack Raper, a journalist who broke a story. These people all think that they're doing their jobs. I desperately want to know why Jeffrey Epstein knew so much about my work. And I want to know why he was connected to my graduate program.
Right.
At Harvard University. He was a financier. This is the story that we're getting. He's just some financier guy who was what was he, a teacher, a math teacher, and failed at that. And somehow he becomes this like world-renowned financier, and he's in these universities lecturing people on gravity, or he's part of that. And it just, so the TLDR of that is Eric Weinstein's asking about why is it that these intelligence agencies and who are involved in these intelligence agencies, and why are they guiding science? They're trying to guide the development and discoveries in science. So this is becoming a bigger story, Marty. It's crazy.
Yeah, it followed the money. I mean, it's a follow the money. Yeah.
Well, that's it. And it sounds like the pedo stuff that we keep hearing about, that's only one aspect of it. The honeypot schemes where they get people in and they have compromised videos and stuff like that, that's only one aspect of it. There's other avenues that Jeffrey Epstein was involved with.
I mean, Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress lying across a couch in his house. And people go, oh, it's just art. No, it's not just art, folks. Like these people are, they're powerful, they're sick, they're participating in bad stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's a world that's not hard to imagine, but it is hard to imagine. I mean, I go, why would people do this? I guess once you get to a certain point in life where you have so much money, you do get warped and twisted. And then once you get warped and twisted, then you're wrapped in it. I mean, look at who else was involved. I mean, Carney's involved. I'm sure of it. I mean, there's pictures of Carney with Ghislaine Maxwell and his wife, the prince. Who's the prince in England? Prince, is it Andrew or William?
It's Andrew, the one that was supposed to be involved with this stuff. Yeah.
Right. And so Prince Andrew, the Queen felt that there was enough there that she, kicked her son out of the royal family, basically. Who's Carney's brother? Mark Carney has two brothers, and one of his brothers is like the manager of Westminster or whatever the house where the King Charles lives. Like, he's the chief of staff for King Charles, is one of Mark Carney's brothers. You tell me these guys aren't all connected? Oh, but I mean, wow, I didn't even think we were going to talk about Mark Carney, but like, we'll keep talking about Mark Carney. But before we go there, yes, Donald just released a damn file, man. If there's nothing on there, then what's the worst that happens? If there's nothing on there, what would that prove? There's nothing on there would prove that the Democrats made it up. If there's something on there, then even if it's your friends, the MAGA movement wants to know who they are, including Donald, right? Is Donald on the list? I don't know.
Well, people want to know. because there's Mark Carney and his wife with Ghislaine Maxwell at a summer festival. And they weren't just like happened to be there at the same time. They were fraternizing, they were hanging out. This was their event together. This is the kind of thing. But this is what's making me think, like, what could make Donald, what could make Dan Bongino, what could make Kash Patel all suddenly go from this is an intelligence operation. Like Dan Bongino was on the Tim Pool show, and he was just full on. This is, I don't know which organization, but I was told by a credible source that Epstein was, intelligence operation from the Middle East. You can guess which one, right? So here's the thing: if it really did come out that he's part of Mossad and he was, all of this stuff with Israel, but then probably with Saudi, probably with other countries all throughout Europe, and everybody's got dirt on everyone, it's all implicated in the same file. It would change the world order if all of that information got out. The whole world order would just flip on its head.
Completely agree. I mean, last week we talked about this. Last week Carney was on vacation, and I said he's not on vacation. That's what I said last week, right? When you and me and Jasmine were talking, Carney wasn't on vacation. If he was, he would have told us where he was. But he was, and the idea that he was protecting his family, bullshit. Carney has been campaigning hard and working, and he's had a busy schedule, and he didn't have time to go clean up some of his other, messes and cover up the stuff. So he had to take a week off. I guarantee you he flew to the Cayman Islands. He flew to England. He flew to Europe, probably flew to Davos. He went to a bunch of places, and he went and cleaned up stuff because he realized, oh, shit, it's not clean. And then this week, despite all his best efforts, his list of conflict of interest came out. 103 conflicts of interest, right? I mean, I said this while he was running. There's no way on God's green earth that Mark Carney can be prime minister and not be in some form of conflict with every policy he's proposing. He will have to recuse himself from absolutely everything. And so, and then all those companies, I'm sure people are digging into it, like the names that guy was mentioning. I love the fact that there are still journalists that do that just investigate. People are going to go through that list and find a connection between Carney and Trump and whoever, and it's all there. It's all there.
Well,
we're not conspiracy theorists, folks. I'm sure people are.
No. I'm just about to say, like, you don't have to look very far. Stay right here on YouTube. Go to the Moose on the Loose channel. He's tied all of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
he's got this amazing chart.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Guys like Moose and guys like Andy Lee. I mean, Andy's still focused on the Chinese, but someday she'll shift her attention. And yeah, it's all it's insane. Well, yeah, that was a question last week. Somebody said which Carney companies would you invest in? None, because they're going to crash and burn at some point. Like it's this doesn't end well. Yeah,
no, it doesn't end well. The whole thing doesn't end well. But yeah, I'm starting to believe that this Epstein thing runs so deep that it's even got the Trump administration spooked. Like the people that were going to, I saw literally doing everything and spooked them. Did I see what?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Somebody had a cute meme with Epstein. You know how the jokes like Epstein didn't hang himself or whatever, and somebody got AI to generate like an Epstein, one of those smelly things you hang on your rear view mirror, like the deodorizers, and it had a picture of him, and it's like whatever. Unlike Epstein, this deodorizer didn't hang itself or whatever. It was funny, anyways. Yeah. Hey, can we on the topic of Mark Carney? I mean, that poor guy's struggling, right? Like he went away for a vacation. Now he's back. I mean, tomorrow he's going to meet with the First Nations. That's going to be interesting because I think the First Nations are probably going to cross their arms and turn their back on him. I have a feeling tomorrow that Carney's going to be speaking to people who are going to turn their backs on him. It's about Bill C5 and Bill 5, so it won't go well. But can you play that clip? I asked you to spool it up. The one from CBC Watcher where the lady says, I don't know if we should have our elbows up or down anymore. Like,
Here we go.
I want to start with you. There does, I mean, it is a fact that other countries are not getting deals that don't include tariffs at this point. Was this the inevitable conclusion of where things were going to land for Canada?
I'm getting very confused, Catherine, about where to put my elbows. They're up and they're down, and if they keep moving that way, we're going to look like a bunch of chickens. The Prime Minister has an expectation management problem. You referenced it off the top. He billed himself during the election as the guy that would get a good deal for Canada, and the reality is that our tariffs are higher today than they were on election day. We had the doubling of the steel and aluminum tariff. We now have this August 1st threat. So we don't appear to be closer to a deal than we were on election day. And that is a problem for the Prime Minister because he billed himself as the guy to get it done. So what can Canada be doing if tariffs are the reality and other countries have them as their reality? What are we doing to systemically make investment in Canada better? So far, the proposal has been to expedite energy projects to, oh my goodness,
yeah, it's good.
I think Carney got elected. He was lucky that we only had an 8-week sitting parliament, and he tried to do as little as possible. Now he's got the summer to try and figure out what the hell to do. But everybody's waking up now, realizing Carney's not. We elected a banker, man. Like, we elected a banker, like,
and a terrible one at that. That has one. He's a one-trick pony. He turns on the money printer, and that's all he knows how to do. That's really all he knows how to do.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And he's surrounded by idiots, the same idiots as before, and everybody forgot that the idiots that got us into trouble are the idiots. So he's surrounded by Guilbeault and Freeland and LeBlanc and all of them, and Jolie. And so he has no choice. Like, the rumors are growing. He's gonna have to shuffle his cabinet and try and find some talent somewhere. He has no talent. He has no ideas. Inflation is on the rise. The fake inflation that they report, right? Yesterday, the Bank of Canada reported inflation at 1.9%. You know, their target is 2%. That's the inflation they report, Clyde. Like, you and I know it's higher than that, but even the fake number that they report shows that inflation is going back up. It's in the second wave. It's predictable. We're in trouble. Like, we're in trouble. And I think that's a segue. I mean, we're running out of time. Maybe we'll talk about it in the next segment when we're taking questions, but we are in trouble, and we have commentators like you and I that are bringing it out, but some people are extremely frustrated, and they're bringing out their frustration in the wrong way, using the wrong language. And now we have conservative on conservative fighting each other instead of fighting Carney. We live in bizarre times, man. I just can't stop saying that. It's such a bizarre time.
We do, and I know what you're referring to. So this was the news last week. So Northern Perspective put out a video, or not a video, sorry, a big statement. They put it out on Twitter. They put it out on their YouTube channel, communities tab. And it was going after another creator. And it was going after Spencer of the MCGA account. Now, the big thing was they're saying that he said certain things on one of his videos. And the things, it's very long here. So they list out the things that he said. Apparently, he said something about them being bought and paid for. And then he said something about them looking like brother and sister. And then they added on top of it that he made a statement that their child is disabled because of their incestuous relationship. And this is what was alleged in this. So this isn't the original one. This is the one that came out afterwards. So a week later, some time goes by. Spencer makes a claim that he didn't actually say what they were saying. And he says, look, I have it up. I had to take the videos down, and he reads off the transcript because his lawyer told him not to say what it was.
The video, or yeah.
And he says, listen, I said this. He says some vulgar things. Like, let's just be honest. He said some really, really vulgar things, but he didn't say what was alleged. So, like, he did say the bought and paid for thing. He did say they look like brother and sister, but this, like, inference thing, was where the gray area is. So it came out as a matter of fact, he said this, and then no subsequent like video to go along with it or correspondence or anything like that, just the statement. And then this is where all the contention came into play, because people are saying he said a horrible thing, but then he's saying, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So now it's a battle of who said what, why did you go so public about it? And is this really going to be a lawsuit that goes forward? It just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose for everyone. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a lose-lose. And so, yeah, you know, we got into a bit more detail than I thought, but I was just trying to make the point that we have enough fodder going after politicians and bureaucrats in this country. We don't need to go after each other. Like, I get mad, you know, it's the same thing. I get attacked regularly by people, and I'm like, do you realize that you're attacking a private citizen with an opinion? Like I have no impact on your life other than maybe I educate some people and I bust myths, but I don't make policies, folks. Clyde doesn't make policies. We don't print money. We don't enter trade agreements. Like, coming after us might feel good for some people, but it's completely unproductive. And we're not as popular as you might think we are. We're nobodies. We are nowhere near the levers of power in this country. And Northern Perspective is nowhere near the levers of power, and neither is MCGA. And for two groups like that to come after each other, and there's been others lately, right?
And so very public. Yeah. So this was the contention that I had. I thought this is really like a public flogging at this point. Like, I don't know if this will even materialize as a real lawsuit, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But it feels like a public flogging, like, make the accusation publicly, don't have any evidence to support it. But then, you know, that it's almost like the Me Too movement. People would come out with rape accusations, and then by the time the guy would exonerate his name, he'd already been dragged through the mud. He lost his name. He lost his job. He lost
the court of public opinion is against you. Yeah. It's that's right, for sure. Yeah.
So this is why I wrote to Northern Perspective, and I said, like, you know, I'm probably going to end up covering this at some point. Here are some questions that I have. In most cases like this, first communications between parties are usually done privately. Why did you feel it necessary to do this in a very public fashion? Is this an example is there an example, whether in footage or written communication, where Spencer stated directly that your son's disability is a result of the incestual relationship you have with your wife? Because I looked everywhere.
Oof. Just asking the questions could be
right.
It's
right. Yeah, so I looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. And then later people started talking about an inference, like he inferred that. And that's a stretch, in my opinion. But I mean, we'll see if it does go to the law. So I said, your lawyer's letters speak of an inferred meaning about what actually Spencer said. Does that inference mean that you personally came up with the unsaid meaning? Then I asked, what is the purpose of scripting an apology for him to read? That's what was said in Spencer's video. It's kind of creepy. What it felt like to me was like, yeah, do this thing, admit to what you said, and then we have a case.
Oh, and I said,
hold on, this is an important question. What actual damages were incurred that you would have suffered as a result of what the claim Spencer said? And then a follow-up to that was, are you aware that Spencer actually incurred damages as a result of your public accusation? Like, this is like, why are we doing this? This is crappy territory to be entering. And so, of course, I spoke out about it, and I've shared my opinion on it. Anyway, people can go check out more information. MCGA is the YouTube channel. He's the one who's being sued in this case, and he's also running a Give, Send, Go to help with his fund. If you want to donate to it, if it doesn't actually go to court, everyone gets refunded. It's one of those things.
And I thought he had apologized. I thought he had done what they wanted him to do. Like, he had done a video apologizing, but
so he apologized for what he said, but he said, I'm not going to apologize for what I didn't say.
Right.
And then he went on to a long explanation about the back and forth with the lawyers, and it's so ugly. And this is where it gets even uglier. It gets even uglier because, you know, I was chiming in on it, and of course other creators were chiming in on it, and somebody had to chime in
about on your
me.
chime.
Chiming in on my chime. And what happened was I got annoyed because I've had someone who's been attacking me for 2 years. Let's just go on, just get into it briefly. But 2 years, ever since there was a falling out, has been attacking me like on the weekly basis, making, false accusations, claims, all kinds of things about me. And I've been trying to do just like the big boy move, just ignore it, walk away. And then it finally got to me. So I lashed back at the tweet, right? And this was Derek Smith, of course. So he'd been saying lots of stuff, and he did this. He tweeted this thing out, and this is a part of his behavior. He'll tweet something out, and then he'll delete it. He'll put something on his YouTube channel, and then he'll delete it. He says all these things, and I had enough of it, and I said, you deleted this before I had a chance to reply. It's a good thing that the internet's forever. Here you go. Go on about how I'm jealous of Northern Perspective and all that stuff. I helped Northern Perspective build their channel. I'm happy for them. I am happy that they're doing well. I hope that they can start getting along with everybody. That's really what I want. Same with Derek. I hope that he could just get along with people, because he's really created a lot of trouble for not just me. It's been across the board. He keeps having these interactions with people, and as a result, I'll admit I was mad, and I said, "Listen, I'm gonna out you for some of this stuff. Like you lie about this and you lie about that, and I'm gonna expose you." And so I actually said this. I said, "Derek, I'm about to expose you. Please don't forget this moment when you're reveling in the fact that I've had misfortune in my life. I won't, and I will show it to the world." And here's what I'm doing. I'm doing that just now. So what he did was him and some of his minions that he hangs out with were posting about the fact that I got evicted, and I shared it with my audience. Now, this happened over a year ago. I shared it just only recently, but this was a thing. I was wrongfully evicted from my place, and they made it a fun thing. Like, and actually turned it around and said, like, I'm the bad guy because I had been ripping off my landlord for 10 years by paying my rent, something along those lines. In a time where we're in a housing crisis, a housing shortage, and over costs, this really is a difficult one. But so then the other morning, he makes a video, and this is where it just gets ridiculous.
But to threaten somebody's channel, to threaten that I'm going to ruin you, really speaks a lot. Now, of course, what he's bringing up about being he's had misfortune in his life, he's referring to a comment that one of my other colleagues made in regards to his rental situation. If you're not aware, again, Clyde was evicted from his landlord. Now, this colleague, which I'm not going to speak on behalf of, came out to say, look, you've left out an important detail in your tales to your community. You haven't told them that your landlord was charging you roughly a third of what everybody else in your town was paying in rent. Your landlord was looking to capitalize on his rental property on an agreement you guys had for 10 years. You've smeared your landlord by saying that he evicted you, that he's caused your family all this dismay, yada, 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 simply because you're not being truthful with your audience. Now, that's between him and them.
So I'll be truthful today. It's so crazy. Let me just explain this. I was paying $1,375 for a 3-bedroom townhouse. Tell me that's a reasonable or way too cheap. Yes, the market has gone crazy here in British Columbia. Now, so he evicted me, said that he was going to move out or move into the place, did not move into the place. 6 months later, listed it for $3,900. So this is a big stretch to say. I was actually like, I'm taking him to the tenant board. This is a legitimate claim. He went on to make a 30-minute video about me and telling the whole world that I'm a bad guy and I've ripped him off and I've done all these things. He's said lots of things about me ripping him off before. He's had to delete them because he was worried about defamation. I'm not going to sue anybody.
Well, he started his video with a Freudian slip right off the bat, right? Like he said, "You're gonna destroy him." It's like, no, you didn't say that. You simply said you're going to expose him. So
Yeah.
it was a Freudian slip on his part where he was admitting, "Oh shit, I've done bad and I'm about to be exposed." In fact, he realized that what he's doing might destroy him, but you didn't say you're going to destroy him. So, anyways, I'll stand. I'll vouch for your story. I think you told us the story of your rent, your whole story. Maybe me more personally than others, because you and I talked about it over time. I mean, I think what happened to you from a rent point of view was absolute bullshit, but it was also it was happening to a lot of people. I mean, you got what's the word?
It's not an unusual story.
No, you got rent evicted, they call it, or whatever. I mean, the landlord made up a bullshit excuse. Did he want more money? Absolutely.
Well, it's a bad faith eviction, because if you don't follow through with the thing that you said you're going to do when you evict, because if it's on the form that you're going to move in, you have to move in. There's been a recent Supreme Court case in British Columbia, went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the landlord lost in that case. You have to move in if you kick someone out. Now, I just want to say, this has been going on for 2 years. Derek has been spending a lot of time saying really bad stuff about me. Here's one of the things that he deleted in the past, where he made up some big lie about paying me with microphones, and then I defrauded him. He took this down because it's clearly defamation. So I'll just show you this. Just get a flavor of what I've been going through for the past 2 years.
See, people saying, "Oh, I watch Clyde." Come on, Derek, don't hate on. Here's the first thing. People I'm not going to keep shitting on Clyde because he's weak and I don't want to. Nobody knows the personal story behind me and Clyde. Like, I've talked about a little bit of what's gone on. If anybody really wants to know the personal story, because I'm not going to talk about it, somebody should go to Clyde's channel and ask him about the $1,000 worth of audio equipment I bought for him to advertise our books that he never gave. That when it came time to pay the piper, he just found all these problems with unacceptable Fringe and cut me out. Kept the equipment, by the way. Somebody should go ask him about that before anybody wants to say, "Hey, Derek, stop crapping all over Clyde." I got my reasons. I got
Derek. I mean, he reached, I did shows with him. He reached out to me. He did a special with his book and he got me to read a chapter, and I gladly did it. Did I ask for a penny or anything like that? Dude, that's what we do out here, man. We help each other. I'm sure he gave you some equipment. I don't know what the circumstances are, but
well, I'll tell you what the circumstances were. He just sold, I think, like $200,000 worth of his book, and it was a book that I promoted, and I asked nothing for it. And he asked me like, "Oh, what are some of the things that you're looking for in your new studio?" And I said, "Oh, I like these mics." And he showed up and he gave me the mics and said, "This is a token of my appreciation." I wanted nothing of it. And he's like, "No, I insist." And then later made this story up. And it's like, listen, the whole thing, it could have been avoided. It really came down to, he tells a lot of fib stories. Like, and we've all met someone who does this. They'll say stories that are grandiose, and maybe there's a bit of truth to it, but they're really over the top, and that didn't happen. Like, and
the pain from my gallbladder stone was only a 7, wasn't it actually an 8?
Yeah. So the thing is, it's fine, and you go, okay, that's cute, whatever. But then sometimes it'll burn you. I had him on the show, and he talked about the Stampede Lottery as it being a scam, and I got an email from the Stampede Lottery afterwards, and they're like, "Listen, I know you're good at making retractions on information that's incorrect." I asked him to be on the show. He explains this in his video, but he obviously is not telling the right story.
I remember that retraction because you were in Calgary when you made that accident.
It was the day you came over and we made Carpereñas. Yeah, it was that day.
Yeah.
So I made that retraction. I asked him to join me for it. He was like, "No, it's fine. It'll blow over." I said, "I don't let things blow over, man. Like, I make the retractions. These people are fans of my channel." So I didn't say like, "This is the end of my channel" or anything like that. This is integrity. So I made the retraction and I took full responsibility for it. And that's what you do. Later, people pressured him into making a retraction about it, and he gave a bunch of excuses about why it was his opinion and stuff like that. It's like, man, if you got to apologize, just actually apologize. Anyway, this is enough about this drama. Maybe we might address more things in the after stream. This is the show. I let you guys know for the recorded audience. This is what went down. I'm hoping that it's over because I've been putting up with him talking smack about me for 2 years. People that are mutual friends have told him to stop doing it, and he just can't help himself. And this time is just come to a thing. I've lost nearly 1,000 subscribers over his 30-minute video. And it's like,
really?
yeah, okay.
Wow.
If, that sucks, but whatever. I'm going to move on. I hope he just never speaks of me again. I really do, because for 2 years, I refrained from saying anything back about him. And here it is. The fly goes around.
Yeah,
you
well,
smack it finally, and somebody's mad.
I'm the same way. I mean, I try to stay out of it. Like when somebody attacks me, I generally try and stay out of it. I mean, I got thick skin, but once in a while you get somebody who comes after you in a kind of a slanderous way. Then you got to defend yourself, which is appropriate. Which is a segue, which brings back to Northern perspective. I think they've gone over the top in defending themselves. I mean, it's a similar thing. Spencer makes a bit of fun. He's crude. So what? I mean, God, based on their criteria, I have every right in the world to go after, Jeremy McKenzie and Ferryman's Troll, and think of the things they've called us and accused us of being. If it's you just brush it off. I mean, if you don't worry about it. So anyways, hopefully these things resolve. Well, we'll keep talking about it, but yes, we got to close the first.
We got to close this. It went a little bit long, so that's fine. If you're watching this after the fact and you want to be part of the Q&A, because it's only available to members of the channel afterwards. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you're a member of the channel. Or tune in when it's live. It's free. That's the way to do it. Anyway, for the people watching this after the fact, we're going on to the Q&A section. We'll see you in the next one. Marty, where can people find you?
Marty Up North on Twitter, but you're not going to find me much for the next 10 days because Friday morning I'm leaving on a 10-day hike. But yeah, Marty Up North on Twitter.
I gotta get somebody to fill in for you on Wednesday.
For Wednesday I will be. I'd have to go look at my itinerary, but Wednesday I will be at the most remote lake in Jasper National Park. I will be at South Esk Lake on Wednesday, 80 kilometers from the trailhead. Yep.
Sounds fun. We'll see who ends up on the Marty and Clyde show next week. All right.